Yes, we have started the recording now. So today I'll be showing you how to hide and unhide the rows and columns. Yesterday we started with inserting and deleting part. We'll start with hiding and unhiding today. So I'll say macro hide rows and columns. So again we have to always begin with sub. Give a proper name to the macro. I'm writing a program to hide a single row now. So as we all know, like is from yesterday's class, so you have to choose the address first. So which row you have to hide. For a single row, you can give any address as of now. I'm going to choose the sixth row. You see, I'll start from sheet 1. Range of, I'll give the address of the cell, any cell for that matter. So I'll just mention B6. Even over here, you'll have to mention entire row. See which property you use here is going to matter, entire row or entire column. So here if I say hidden, hidden is the property used along with this entire row property. So if you set the hidden property to true, it is going to hide. If you set it to false, it's going to unhide. As simple as that. It applies to both rows and columns. We'll see how to apply this for a single row, multiple rows, single column and multiple column. So one after the other. I'll give this as true. So now let me run this. I have run this. So are you able to see the screen of the Excel? The sixth row is hidden.
Yes, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So you see the sixth row is hidden currently. So in the similar manner, I can go on with multiple rows as well. Let's see that example now. I'll get macro to hide multiple rows. So this was only rows, it's not columns. I get a separate macro for columns. So hide multiple rows. Again, you have to mention the sheet name, then range. You give the cell addresses. So I'll give a range of cells now. Let's say from B6 to I'll give B12. I want to hide 6 rows altogether. I'll give entire row again dot hidden equals true. So this is again going to hide multiple rows for me. I'll run this. You can check here in Excel. See? So from 6th row to 12th row, you can see the rows are hidden. In the same way, I'm going to write the program for columns now. And say macro to hide a column. Yes, we begin with hide column, that is the name of the macro. And here I'll mention the address again. So I'll use the same cell address, B6. You just see I'll change the property to entire column and how it behaves. Range of B6 dot entire column dot hidden is equal to. This is going to hide only the B column because we have mentioned only one column over here. And run this. So let's go back to the Excel sheet now. You can see here the B column is hidden. You will see that in the sheet. Once you execute the program, you will be able to see the difference. So let's work on macro to hide multiple columns now. Multiple columns. So here I'll change the macro name. Hide multiple columns. So over here again, you need to mention the column address. So you can give any cell range for that matter, but see that you give uh, multiple columns here. It's not like B6 and B12 as we gave. It's not like B6 and B12. So this is the same column. I'm going to mention different columns here. Now B6 to let's say J6 or J14. Row number can be anything as long as you use this entire column property. Row number can be anything. It's not going to be affected. Yes. So after I do this, now I want to hide columns right away from B to J. Now let me run the macro, take you to this Excel screen. So you can see from B to J, you don't find the columns, they are hidden. After A, you'll immediately see K over here. Okay, so that's the difference. So if these are for hiding, if these macros are for hiding, so to unhide, I just have to change the property to false. So the hidden property, if I set it to false, they all are going to be unhidden. They are going to unhide if I set it to false. So the same thing I can write it for you. Macro to unhide. So sub unhide. Make it a habit to type the programs. Don't copy paste it because as in when you practice, only then you'll get the more you write the programs, the more you'll remember it. So, so I avoiding copy pasting as much as possible. So if you're in a hurry, I can understand, but if you have time, make sure you can use typing for that. Hidden property, I'm going to set it to false. So let me run this. You can check B6. The sixth row is visible to us now. It was not visible before. Now it is visible. I had hidden it. Now I want to release the other rows as well. Like from 7th row to 12th row, I want to unhide them. They are hidden currently. So I'll go back. I'll write a macro to unhide those rows. So, yes, macro to unhide multiple rows. So over here, sorry, I have to begin the macro first. Sub unhide multiple rows. The rule I said to write the programs, it applies to any programming language. When you're learning any programming language, it's the same thing. So if you have to learn it soon, you should see that you practice a lot. So you can use it in your own work. So wherever possible, when you are trying to implement it, it is going to be really helpful. Memorize the functionalities that you learned here. And you'll also remember the syntax. Yes, I have written how to unhide the multiple rows. So let me run this. Yes, you can see now from 7th row to 12th row, it is all visible. So this was hidden before, now I have unhidden it. So let me do the same with the columns as well. So first I'll show you how to unhide single column. I'll start with unhide column. I'll give the address and use the same V6 address over here. Say hidden entire column dot hidden is equal to false. And now if I run it, you can check only B column is visible currently. Now if I have to unhide further columns, I'll have to mention them as well. So let me write the macro for that. Macro unhide multiple columns. So unhide multiple columns. You also have to observe something over here. I am trying to give a tab space as soon as I start the macro. These things are known as indentation. You might have seen these things in the material that I have shared to you. So these are the standard way to write the programs. There is no rule to follow it this way, but if it will be much more readable and presentable. If someone else has to use your macros, it will be really easy for them to follow the code. So rather than you starting it from the same line always from the beginning. So this looks more structured if you are giving a tab space after each block. So when you are writing multiple line programs, you will understand it much better. So I want to unhide it from C column to J column now. Our column dot hidden is equal to false. So now if I write it, execute it, you can see all columns from C to J, they are unhidden. So any doubts on this topic? You people can ask me questions if you have any doubt in this. Do you have? You can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
You used false at the end of the statement. I didn't get it. Why?
May I know whom am I speaking to?
Srinivas.
Srinivas, see when you set the hidden property to false, either for row or for column, it will unhide. See the hidden property you're setting it. So there's a property like yesterday we were discussing about how to make something bold or italic. So it is same thing as that. When you say bold equals true, it will highlight it will make the font as bold. So if you set it
Yes.
to false, it will show in the normal font. This also is in the same way. If there is a property known as hidden, if you set it to true, it will hide the columns and rows. If you set it to false, it will unhide it. As simple as that. Clear? Are you clear?
Yes, Vidya. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else has any doubts? Shall we proceed with the other programs?
Yeah, please,
Okay.
Vidya.
Okay. Fine. So I'll add another module now. Let's discuss about clearing the cells. See, when I say clear, I'll show you an option in Excel. And how's the video quality, guys? You are able to follow. The video is, updating. The screen is updating properly.
Yeah, it's quite quick.
Yes, it's quite good.
Okay. So because yesterday we had a lot of problems in updating this. Mm, okay. Fine. So let me show you here. In Home tab, we have something known as clear. This option. See here you can find clear all, clear formats, clear contents, comments and notes, hyperlinks. So we'll see how to use these options in VBA. There is also something known as clear outlines. I'll be teaching you that as well. So clearing is you have something prepared in the sheet, you already have it, you want to just delete it. So it doesn't delete as we do on Excel sheet. You will have to use this clear option. So first let me prepare the data for you quickly. I'll give some numbers here. I'm using a function as rand between. This is used for creating random numbers between two given numbers. I'm just taking some range here. I'll copy it and I'll paste it as values. So over here, let's say I'll mention them as month names. That will be much easier. I'm using an auto list here. Okay. See, I'll color it. I'll apply some borders. We'll be learning all this in our Excel class, how to use the shortcuts and quickly get these things done. We'll be discussing that topic. So currently, I'm showing you how to use it in VBA through code, how to manage these things. So yes, so over here, I have applied some formats. So let me give some number format as well, so that you will know even these formats will be. I'll use some dollar symbol over here. See, currently this data has got number formats, cell formats, all these things. Okay, I'll keep a copy of this in sheet 2. Okay, see over here, I just have to clear everything at once. Let's say I'll use clear all option. I'll write the program at once. Then we'll see how to execute it one by one on the same range. Okay, I'll rename this module as clear cells. See, if you have to rename the module, you just have to select the module which you want to rename, and in the properties window you find name over here. You will have to change it there. Don't use space. It will accept only underscore and no special characters. So this is macro to clear all. So let's see what happens if I give clear all. So clear all. I'll mention this. See, if I want to delete the data along with the formats that we have applied, we'll have to select the data first, which is the data. So it is from C4 to N22. I'll mention that range of C4 to N22 dot clear is the option that you have to use. So if you give clear, so this will clear everything at once. So I'll write the programs for you first, and then we'll see how it works one by one. Okay. So the next, I'll use the same range and show you how to clear only the format part. Format in the sense of the dollars that we are given to decimal places, the borders and such things are known as formats. over here again I'll change the name to clear formats. I'll use the same range, and you all should remember something here. All changes applied through macros cannot, you cannot get it back by doing undo. So there is no option to get it back. So once you have done the task, it is done. That's all. It is completely done. You will not get it back. So the only way to get back your data the way it was is to close your file without saving. So be really careful when you're trying to delete cells or clearing and such things. Should be really careful. Think twice whether it is really necessary. And then you uh, you know perform that. So this is to clear formats. Next, I'll show you macro to clear contents. See, this will retain the formats, but it will delete only the content part. So the borders and other things, it will be as it is. Only the content present there will be cleared. Clear content. So I give the same address C4 to N22. You are going to mention the address here, and you will say clear contents. The next thing is clear comments. See, in order to clear the comments, you should have first given some comment there. Only then it is going to work. We'll do that on our data before executing this program. But currently, I'm just writing it for you. Clear comments. Usually we use such things in the automation process before pasting a fresh data into your data sheet, or whenever you want to get a new dump of data, you should make sure you are deleting the older data. So for that reason, we'll be using these codes. So let's say clear comments. And the next one is macro to clear hyperlinks. So you can quickly use this to clear all the hyperlinks in your sheet. Whenever you type some mail addresses especially, that's very annoying for you to go and remove it. So you can use a macro, and it will clear the hyperlinks for you. So we'll have to first give some hyperlink, then I have to set it. Anyways, let's see. I'll use the same range. This is C4 N22 dot clear hyperlinks. So you can see two things over here: clear node and clear comments. So the reason they have this is, in the current version of Excel, you have two things: comments are different, nodes are different. I'll show that to you. So, but both the options are going to do the same job, so nothing to worry. But if you see something as clear nodes and clear comments separately, nothing to worry. They both are going to perform the same action. Okay, I'll show you what is the difference over here. This is for clear hyperlinks. So let me show you the first, this one. So shall we, give some shapes to run this? This time I want to show you like that. So let me insert some shapes here. Maybe I've used clear all. Correct. Then we have clear content. Then we have clear formats. And then we have comments. Then we have hyperlinks. I'm using shapes here to assign those macros that we have written, and just by clicking these shapes, the macro has to execute. So to achieve that, I'm doing this. So right click, you will get the list of macros that you have written. Say clear all. I'm going to select this, say okay, assign macro, clear content, assign macro, clear format. It's okay. Same thing over here, clear comments. So there is no necessity that you have to give these shapes in the same order that you wrote your program. It's fine wherever your program is lying, but when you are assigning to these shapes, just make sure you are going to assign the proper macro to it. See over here, first let me give clear all. You see what happens? It will clear everything together. So I have kept a copy in sheet 2 for the same purpose. I'll paste it in C4 again. So over here, I'll use clear content. You see what happens? The formats are remaining. Contents is gone. Formats are remaining. The contents is gone. Now let me click on clear formats. So I'll paste the data again. You can see I'll click on clear formats. The data is present, but all kinds of formats are removed. So I have to provide some comments. First of all, only then we'll be able to see the changes here. You see, I'll give some comments to cells. So to give a comment, either right click on the cell and say new comment. So you can see here, new comment and new note. So this is available only in the newer version. So that is after 16, I guess. So you in 2019 or Office 365, you will see note and comment here. So if I give comment, it's going to come along with the ID that my system has got. If I say note, so who is it? Please mute your audios. Yeah. See, a note is the normal comment that you used to see in the other older versions of Excel. So I'll give both. I'll give a note here. I'll say note example. And in some other cell, I'll try to give, copy this, I'll paste only the note. Okay. So now I've given notes in all these cells. So let me give comments in some cells. I'll insert a new comment. I'll give some comment here. Comment example. Okay. Copy this. I'll paste only the comments part. Okay. See, when I have given comments in few cells now. So let us see, when I click on clear comments, it's going to clear both the notes and the comments that I've given. You can check. Can you make out the difference here? So there are no comments, no notes, nothing. So all are clear. You can check. So to see whether the hyperlinks are going to be cleared, I have to first give some hyperlinks. So to give a hyperlink, right click on that cell. So you go to link over here. You can see something known as link. So where do you want to link it? So you can say insert link. I want to link it in the same existing file or place in this document. If I say so, you can link it to the same document, in the same document, in wherever you want to link. I'll link all these to, let's say, sheet 2. I want to do the same for a few cells over here. So now you see we have got hyperlinks created. Now if I click on clear hyperlinks, all the hyperlinks are cleared, but you can see the formats are still present. You can still see the formats. So it looks like a hyperlink, but there is no link present. Only the font color is in blue and it looks underlined. So it doesn't have any link present. The links are all lost because I've used clear hyperlinks. Clear with this, clear with these examples, all of you. If you have any doubts, you can ask me a question here. Anyone? Shall we go ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. See, I was telling there is something known as clear outline. Outline is when you have grouped your data. So to group your data, I'll just randomly group some columns here, or maybe I'll group it quarter-wise. I'll have to first select the columns to group it. Just go to Data tab. We have something known as group. I'm going to use this. So I'm going to group the data in the same manner. Okay, I'll just create 2-3 groups here. Okay, I'll group some rows as well. So it's like this. So you can group your data like this. So even these groups can be, cleared. So these groups are, so there is something known as clear outline. You can check that here. We are going to use this option over here to expand everything and clear all the groupings that we have done. I require that macro. So let's go back. So over here, to write macro to clear outlines. Sub clear outline. So I'm going to use this on the same range again. While you in the files that I've shared for practicing, you have it in separate sheets. For you to just explain, I'm using the same range of cells. You can find the material that I've shared to you has got separate sheets to explain this. So I'll say clear outline. I'll use this option. This is going to clear the outline. I'm going to assign this to a shape over here. Right click, assign macro, clear outlines. I'll give this, right? Rename this shape. So when I click on it, you can see all the outlines will be cleared. Whatever you're seeing currently, there's 1, 2, 3. So the levels of grouping that we have done, all that will be cleared. I'll click on it now. See, all the groupings are cleared. So this is about different types of clearing in your cells. Use how to use the clear option. We have used this topic. So any doubts on this? We'll be moving on to the next topic now. That's the reason. Any doubts? Are you able to hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes, no
Please.
doubts.
Hold on.
Okay. Fine. So good then. Is there any connectivity issue, people? Because people are, trying to add, going out and adding again and again. Just wanted to confirm if you have any connectivity issues. So you're able to hear me clearly?
Yes, everything is actually looks good.
Okay.
Connectivity and the voice also.
Yeah, good. Now we'll see the next program now. Next set of program is to add sheets. We'll see that. It's all about sheets. So what all we can do with the sheets, I'll be teaching the same thing. I'll add a new module. So over here, let's say add sheets. So let's see how to add a sheet, how to add a new sheet. So usually you will click on a plus symbol given over here to add a new sheet tab. So how to do that? Through macro. So yesterday I was discussing how to use three different types of referring to a sheet. So whether through a sheet index or through the name of the sheet or the code name. So we'll see the same over here. Macro to add. I'll be showing all types over here. So add. Okay. You can also address a given sheet. So whichever sheet that you're using currently, that is known as an active sheet. So just remember this, that any sheet that you have currently selected will be considered as an active sheet. Currently it is sheet 2 over here. I'm going to use that active sheet method. So active sheet dot, I'm sorry, sheets dot add is the method. And this will be added right next to the sheet that you have selected. Let me run this. So you can see even in the Project Explorer, there's a new sheet that is added. We only had sheet 1 and sheet 2. So in sheet 3 is the new sheet that you have added through macro. You can see that here. Right in the place of sheet 2, the new sheet is added. So whichever sheet you have selected, it just gets inserted over there. Now you are being specific, let's say it has to be added before this sheet or after this sheet. We'll be using the parameters of this add method. So we'll see that. Sub add sheet after. So this macro is to add a sheet after a particular sheet. Is to add a sheet after a specific sheet that you mentioned. See, in the first program, I did not bother. I just gave sheets.add. That's the simplest way to add a sheet. But it can add anywhere depending on the sheet that you have selected, either before it or after it. Now I'm being specific about the position, where exactly I want to add this new sheet. So then I'll just say sheets.add. See, this add method has got parameters here, before, after, count, and all that. So you can use after. See, these parameters, if you are directly skipping it and using a particular parameter only, then you have to use colon and equal to. So this is very important to follow. Either, see, now I'll use a sheet name to mention here. I want this new sheet to be added after sheet 2. I'm using the Excel name of the sheet. You see, I'll use that here. You could also use the sheet index in the same place. It's all left to you what you choose. So you can use this. You should use sheets of the sheet name. Now if I execute it, just check. A new sheet is added, but you look at the position of the sheet in the Excel. It is after sheet 2. Now if I have to add it always at the end of the, always at the end, I want to, whenever I add a new sheet, I want it to always appear in the end after all the sheets. Then we are going to use this sheet index option, and whichever sheet appears in the last. So I was telling you how to get the position. So I'll take count of the number of sheets. I'll mention that in this place. So in this place, if I mention the sheet count, that will be the last sheet. So whichever new sheet that I add will be added in the end of all the sheets. So let me show you that. Macro to add a sheet in the end. So I'll say sub add sheet at the end. So here I'll just use this sheets dot add, and I'll say after. You could also use before, but here I'm using after. Sheets of sheets dot count. So you should understand here, I have used double quotes in this place because it's a name I'm referring to. Here it's a function that I'm using. I'm trying to count all the sheets present in this workbook. So you'll not use double quotes here because there is no sheet named as sheets.count. If you use double quotes, it is taken as a text value. Here I'm using a function. I'm counting all sheets present in the workbook currently. So if I run this, I have another sheet added, but it will be in the end. So let me add another sheet now. I'll select sheet 1. You just see. Still it will add in the end only. After sheet 5, you can see. You see. It will add. It will always add in the end if you are using the sheets.count function. So this is basically getting you the total count of sheets already present. And it forms an index. So now we have 6 sheets here. The sheets.count will return 6. So the 6th sheet, we are giving an instruction saying add a sheet after the 6th sheet. That's the meaning of it. Clear all of you? Is it clear? Do you have any doubts in this part?
Vidya, I just have a small doubt. Why do we use colon and equal here?
Yes, see, I told you add has got some parameters. So you can see here before, after, count and such things. Ramya? Hello?
Yes, I'm able to hear.
Yeah. See, I just want to give input to after parameter. I'm not bothered about the other parameters.
Okay.
And you can see the parameters are enclosed within square brackets. They are not compulsory if it is that way.
Okay.
Okay, so I can choose to give parameters to input to particular parameter only. So I'm interested only in the after parameter over here. So you could choose before also. There's no compulsion in that. So here we are trying to add sheets after the last sheet always. To get to know the last sheet, we are using this sheets.count and other things. And whenever you're giving an input to a parameter, you should use colon and equal to. Clear?
Yeah, clear. Thank you.
Okay. We'll also see how to include multiple sheets, how to add multiple sheets. Macro to add multiple. So you could just use the count parameter here, add multiple sheets. See over here, I'll say sheets dot add. I'll just use the count parameter here directly. Say count equals. I want to add 3 sheets at once. You see, when I run this, it is going to add 3 sheets. I have not given any position, so it added before this 6th sheet. Okay, so these are the different ways in which you can add sheets in using a macro. So let's see how to hide and unhide sheets here. See, to delete a sheet, you are going to mention the sheet name. So let me show you that as well. Add and delete. I'm going to rename this module for you. See, to delete any sheet, I'm going to say delete sheet. You should specify which sheet you want to delete. Now let's say I want to delete sheet 9. So I'll say sheet 9. I'm using the code name here. You could be using sheet name, you could be using sheet index. All these things are applicable. So you can assume whichever you want over here, whatever you want to use, you can use either the sheet index or sheet name. I'm using the code name over here. I'll use sheet.delete. Let me run this. It will give you this. You want to permanently delete the sheet. So when you click on it, it is going to get deleted. Clear? Is it clear, all of you?
Yes.
No, I'm not able to hear someone over there. Can you be a little louder?
Clear. It's clear.
Oh, I think someone is speaking to someone else. Okay, let me mute everyone. Okay. Fine. See, we'll see how to hide and unhide sheets. So I'll add another module here. Insert another module. So this is to deal with the hiding and unhiding of sheets. Hide, hide sheets. So over here, I'm going to use a macro to hide the sheets first. Macro to hide sheet. So you begin with the macro name, hide a sheet. Again over here, you can either use the code name, Excel name, or sheet index. Using these three, you can hide any sheet. So we are going to use the visible property of a sheet. I'll show you in the property box. You just select any sheet over here. You can see in the properties window. So let me take this highlighter spotlight. Okay. So you can Excuse me. Here you can see this properties window. I have selected sheet 2. So over here you have something known as visible. So this property, if it is set to Excel sheet visible, it will be visible to us. If we have set it to other options, you can see Excel sheet hidden, Excel sheet very hidden. These are the three properties that it has got. You could also use these numbers -1, 0 and 2 to set the properties. So it's always better you use these words so that it is clear to you. So you also have an option to use those numbers as well. So now let me show you. Okay, let's get back to this. To hide a sheet, I'll first choose a sheet here and say sheet 3 dot visible. I'm using the code name here is equal to. You can see all the three different values that it is visible to us. If I want to hide it, I'll use Excel sheet hidden. So when you set this as Excel sheet hidden, the user can still unhide it from Excel. It's just like you're hiding a sheet from Excel. Let me just write it for you. I'll execute this. You can see sheet 3 is hidden. You are not able to see sheet 3 anywhere. But if you right click on it anywhere and if you click on unhide, you'll still be able to unhide sheet 3. But let me show you how to unhide it. Hide it and making it unaccessible. It should not be accessible to someone. As an Excel user, they should not be able to unhide it. So then you're going to use Excel sheet very hidden. So let me show you that hide or very hide sheet. I'll give the name as very hide sheet. If I use that, so I'll use the same sheet and say visible is equal to Excel sheet very hidden. Now if I run this, you can see the sheet property has changed. You're not able to see sheet 3, but you will not be able to unhide it from Excel as well. I'll right click on this. I'll say, see, unhide option is disabled here. You cannot unhide. So that's the advantage of using Excel sheet very hidden. Now tomorrow, if you're using VBA to create some tool and you don't want some sheets to be visible to anyone at any cost, so you are not going to allow them to unhide it. So then you're going to use this property. So if you want to unhide the sheet, so you know there are many sheets that are hidden. You want to unhide it one by one. So we'll be using loops for that. But let me show you only a single sheet, how to unhide a single sheet. There are various other things that you have to learn to deal with multiple sheets and multiple things. So here, let's concentrate on how to unhide a single sheet. Hide sheet. Again, I'll use sheet 3. So it could be a very hidden sheet or a hidden sheet. It'll anyways, if you set the property to visible, it is going to unhide for you. Excel sheet visible and run it. You can see it is visible to us now. Sheet 3. Clear? Is there any doubts over here? Anyone? Do you have any doubts in this? No? Okay. Fine. So we'll move ahead with a few more options. So Please hold on for a second. I'll open another file. So you can discuss if you want to know a few more things in these topics. If you have any doubt or you want some other requirement, give provided it is within this topic. We can discuss and get it cleared. Do you have any doubts regarding this or any other topics or any other requirement that you had using the sheets part? Are you all able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Just wanted to check, was the PPT was also shared along with the email yesterday? I don't know.
Yes, it is shared. It is not through email. I think we have shared the link in the WhatsApp group. You can check it there. We have shared the link in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
I just
And
wanted to share the PPT.
I have shared all the material that we have worked on yesterday. You can just check it. So the file that we have worked on and also the other study material like PPT and those things, I have used that.
When we checked, we just got the video session. So not the
Video I shared just this YouTube link I just gave that. Apart from that, I have also given what to say this the material link. I have shared it over the WhatsApp group. You can just ask someone or you can check it in the group. If you have not got it, you just mail me. I'll send those links to you. Or even if you have this YouTube link with you, you can go and check in the description box. I have given the material link as well. You
oh,
can directly go and download it from there. Okay. So we'll see how to work with ranges. Work with a range. So let me insert a new module. I'll share the screen to you now. Yes. So over here, I'll insert a new module. Okay. And I'm going to name it as range. Range. Program, something like this. See, usually, so especially when we use this clear cells program, you saw we use the C4 and 22, C4 and 22 everywhere. So instead of this, now what if I want to make it a dynamic selection? So if tomorrow my data increases, I want the selection to be dynamic. It should get selected automatically. Whether it is less than this or more than this, it should automatically take the entire range at once. So how to choose those things and what are the difficulties that we have in using that, we'll discuss that now. So over here, to select the range, so I'm going to use the same example that we used in uh, clear cells option. So macro to select a range of cells. Over here, say sub select range. So here I'll mention this sheet 1. I'm sorry, it is there in sheet 2, I guess. Okay, we have it in sheet 1 as well. So let's take sheet 2. So I need to show you a few more things. That's the reason. I'll take sheet 2 dot range of C4, or what is the range? I'll just check that. Dot select. So this is the option to select a range of cells. Again, with this selection, you can perform anything you want, just like clearing it, or you want to, format it, or you want to insert so many cells. For all these things, if you want to select a range of cells, you are going to use this. This is only going to select it. So in sheet 2 also we have it from C4. So I'll give that C4 to N22. So now if I run this, you can see it is selected. This is one way of doing it. Another way is, see, if I don't know the specific range, or if it is quite uncertain, it's going to increase or decrease, then I'm going to use current region property. Macro to select a cell range dynamically. So sub select dynamic range. So here I cannot use this exact cell range because every time I execute, I cannot go and change it in the macro. Whatever you have specified in the macro, the same address will be selected always. So now before executing this macro, let us increase the range size and see whether it will select even after changing the size of the range. So I'll mention a cell address. I'll just take C4 only. You could choose any cell within this range and it will work for you. So from C4 to N22, irrespective of which cell you choose, if you're using current region property, it is going to select all cells like this. So this current region property is similar to your Control A option. Now Control A shortcut that you use to select the data. I'll use this current region dot select. So now if I run this, you can see it does the same job, but I gave a single cell here. Now let us increase the range and check whether it is going to work again. I'm going to just make a copy of this. I'll make a copy of this range as well. Okay, I've increased the range now. It is no more from C4 to N22. It has increased. So again, I'll run this. You can see it will still select it. It will work. Now what if I reduce it? I'll delete them. It is only going to select the cells until the data is present. So let me run this again. You can see here, it will only select the exact amount of rows and columns where the data is present. And for this current region to work, there is something you have to be cautious about. See, you want only this part to be selected, let's say. You should make sure there is at least one row gap and one column gap with the data that you are keeping in the same sheet. Otherwise, even that will be selected. And let me show you an example for that. I have given something over here and I've given some number over here. And if I'm using current region, you just check. I only want this data to be selected. But since I have given these values along with it, very close to the data, there is no gap between the range. So it will select even those rows. See, it will select even that. So if I want to keep this away, I should make sure there is at least one row or one column gap, and then it will not select it. So you can see here. So if I run this now, it's going to treat these values as a separate region. They are not included in your current region. So these things you have to take care when you are using current region property. So don't assume it will always select only your data part. Whatever is there beside that is also selected if there is no gap. There should be at least a column or a rows gap. So that you have to be careful when you are using current region property. Now let's say I have some data uh, in the same sheet, but as I said, there is a gap, but I want to include that also. So what will you do? So over here, see I have something like this. I want to select all of them, but only until where my data is present or till where I have used it. I need to select the range of cells till there. There is something known as used range property. See, whenever you use a sheet like this, even if you have deleted these cells from here, delete in the sense you're clearing the data. So, but you have used your sheet till here. So used range means it is going to choose the last row and the last column that you have used. Till there it is going to select the entire range from A1, starting from A1 till the last row and the last column that you have used. That is known as used range. So let me show you how to use that. Macro to select used range. Say sub select used range. So over here, this is sheet 2 range of, you can give any cell over here, that doesn't matter. You just say used range. Just a second. I'm sorry. You need not mention any cell address. You just have to say which sheet and use range dot select. It will select the used range of that particular sheet. And when I run this, you can see it has taken the used range of the sheet. It will select the entire thing. So whichever cells you have used, so it is going to choose all those cells at once. So till there, till the last row and the last column. Any doubts in this? Are you there, all of you?
Person who is whose expertise is in cloud or
Someone asked the doubt, right? So can you just please repeat it for me? Excuse me.
We are clear with you. I mean, no doubts.
No doubts, no? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So we'll see how to play around with shapes also. So So tomorrow I'll teach you, actually in the next session I'll be teaching you how to add shapes, specific shapes. It's increasing the row height and the shape height and width and those things. So today I just wanted you to have some fun activity. I'll show you how to do that with hiding and unhiding shapes. So how you can work with it. So let me show you that example. I'll insert a module here. Using macros, I'm just creating this. You will see what happens once we get this thing done. Shape, hide, unhide. You will be dealing with a lot of shapes. So you want it to work in a particular way. You want to hide it, you want to unhide it. So for all those things, we'll be using this macro. I'll remove the grid lines. I'll insert 3 circular shapes. You see, hold control when you're drawing this shape so that you'll get a perfect round shape, or whichever shape when you're drawing, hold control and shift together. So it will give you an exact or perfect shape, symmetrical one. It doesn't become an oval and such things. And to make a copy of it, again hold control and shift. Click your mouse button, the left mouse button, drag it. Release your left mouse button. So you can create as many copies as you want like this. This is going to save your time in designing. Now I want to change the color of these shapes. I'll first make sure I've removed their outlines. I'm going to color them differently. So let's say stop. This is for, and I'm just trying to create a traffic signal kind. I guess it's a long time you have seen these traffic lights in Bangalore now, staying in lockdown. So at least in the macro. Let's see.
They are
I'm sorry. Sorry. Can you please repeat it? Hello. Can you please repeat the question?
It was just a background talk, ma'am. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Please mute yourself when you're doing it. Let's not interrupt the class.
Yeah, I think it was someone else. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So now I need 3 more shapes over here to assign the macro. So whenever I click on them, these traffic lights should change. So let me insert that. Yes. So one shape, this is to stop. I'll say ready. And let's say go. So usually you see these, you know, so these are the 3 types. Okay. See, for these 3, circular shapes that we have taken, I'm going to rename these shapes. So you will have to make the formula bar visible first. See, when you select the shape, you will be able to see the name of the shape over here in the name box. So let me show you with the spotlight. See, you can see here, oval 1. So for this shape, if I select this shape, you will be able to see this oval 1 over here. So I can rename it if I want. So I'll rename it. I'll say it as red. Or let me name it as SHP, red shape red. Or you can name it whatever you want. So, but make sure you are going to use the same name in your program. These names play an important role. So you should give the same name, exactly the same way that you have written that. So over here again, let's change this to SHP yellow, and this one, please don't forget to hit enter after giving the name of the shape. Otherwise, the shape will not be given that name. So to check whether your shapes are named, just select this. You can see here SHP red, SHP yellow. So this is wrong. Now it's fine. SHP yellow. And when you click the shape, you'll be able to see that here. Yeah. So now, once we have renamed these shapes, I'm going to use it in the program, and I'm going to hide and unhide these shapes. See, just like these sheets, even for shapes, we have visible property. But only thing is you're going to use true and false here to hide it and unhide it. You don't have something like hidden, very hidden and all that. So let me write that here. So we'll start with it. Macro to display stop signal. So you'll start off like this, sub show stop. And you should mention which sheet the shape is present in. So we have taken sheet 4 over here. So I have taken sheet 4. I have to refer to that. So I'll say sheet 4 dot. This time it is not range. The object class has changed. It is not cells that we are using anymore. We are using shapes. So you should use shapes here. So within this shapes, you have to mention the name of the shape, which shape you are referring to. So you have to remember the shape name that you are giving, and you should mention it here. It says shape red dot visible. See, shapes don't have any hidden property. Their property name is visible. So here you will have to give this and say visible is equal to true. I want to make it visible while the other two shapes are hidden. Say I want the other two shapes to be hidden when the red shape, that is the stop signal, is visible to us. The other two shapes I want to hide it. So I'll repeat the same lines. So I'll change it here. Shape yellow and shape green. See, and I'll change this to false. So I guess it's better to type, otherwise you guys will be confused. So let me type the program completely in other two cases. I'll say macro to display or yellow shape or ready signal. Macro to display ready signal. Sub show ready. So over here again I have to give the sheet name, and the class of objects is shapes. I'm going to mention the shape name red dot visible. See here we want the yellow shape to be visible. So the other two shapes you should hide. In order to hide it, you are mentioning false. So whenever a shape has to be visible, you'll just give true for the visible property. So otherwise it's always false. So SHP yellow dot visible is equal to true. I want the yellow shape to be visible to me. So sheet 4, shapes of. See, before writing any program for small or big tasks, just think of it how you will do it manually and try to convert that algorithm that you prepare in your mind as the code of lines. So that is how it will be easier for you to write any code. So now we want to display green shape. So we have to keep the other two shapes as hidden. So I'll set their visible property to false. So go signal. So here you can say sub show, and you'll say sheet 4 shapes of SHP red. You have to enclose the name in the double quotes. So whenever you have text to be mentioned, a name of an object or a cell address, you have to always give that in double quotes. So I don't want red shape to be displayed, so I'm giving false here. So next, sheet 4 shapes of SHP yellow, and the visible property of this is also false. So only the green shape I want to make it visible. See, this is necessary for us to hide and unhide all the shapes. So you should specifically mention here which shape has to be visible, which should be hidden. So you might be wondering why we can't use only the red shape or yellow shape to be visible and skip the rest of them. So what happens is when you execute the program, say show stop, it would have hidden the other two shapes. So if you don't unhide it in the other program, it will not be visible. It's always better to mention the role of each shape over here, whether it should be hidden or it should be uh, visible to us. So now we are done with these three programs. We have to assign them to those shapes that I have given here. Stop, ready, and go. So that when I click on them, the macro will execute. So I'll right click on it, assign macro. So I'll say show stop. So when I click on stop button, I want only the red shape to be visible to me. So I'll say show stop, assign macro, show ready, and assign macro, show go. So we'll have to assign all those three like this. So when I click on it, so stop will only display red color for me. This one is ready, this one is go. You can also keep these shapes one below the other so that it appears as though the color of the shape is changing. You can do that trick as well. So currently it is changing the position because we have kept those shapes separately. You can overlap these shapes one on the other and make it display as though the shape is changing its color. You can do those things also. So this was just a fun activity I wanted to show you along with whatever we have learned till now. Even the shapes can be hidden and um, made it visible using these properties. So adding a shape, setting its height, and with those things we'll learn tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be covering more important topics along with these basic programs which are left. Is there any doubt in this, all of you? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'll just take a second. I'll have water and come back. So I guess most of you have attended Adi's class in the beginning. So he used some simple dialog boxes like message box. So I'm going to show you a few message boxes here. How to use it. So it's a simple function. I'll just show you that. But it is really helpful. We use that in various occasions in the program. So you might have seen, if you have seen some Excel dashboards or VBA dashboards created using VBA, you will see these message boxes. Once the data is copy pasted, you will see the data is the data copied successfully, or you entered something wrong. So for such things, you can use this message box. They are really good communicators. Or you don't want someone to access something, or you want to give a message by clicking on that button that this is yet to be constructed. So you can use this in many instances like this. I'm going to show you how to use a message box. Mod dialog box like this. It's a very simple function. I'll just show you here. Macro to display a message box. So you should remember something here, like this doesn't store anything. It only displays whatever you want to. So message box is used for that. And again, you can use some icons and title can be customized for the message box. I'll first show you a simple message box, then I'll show you how to customize it. To the extent VBA allows you, you cannot customize it completely as well. Let me show you that. Sub simple message box. So this message box is a function, a VBA function. So when you type Msgbox and give a space to it, so you can see the parameters here: prompt, button, message box style, title, help file, and context. These are the parameters of this message box. So in this, prompt is very much required. See, it is not enclosed in the square brackets. It's a compulsory parameter that you have to fulfill. Otherwise, message box will not work. So even if you haven't provided any input to the other parameters, prompt is compulsory. So here, whatever I type in the prompt, whatever input I give for the prompt parameter, that will be displayed in the message box. Prompt is what you want to display in the message box. Now, if it is a text, I'm directly going to type it like this. Say I will give hello world. I want to display this hello world with an exclamation. I'll run this. So it will display. And you cannot customize this font and other things. Okay. And by default, you see, this is one more thing that you have to observe. It is not related to any sheet in your Excel workbook. This message box just gets displayed on any active sheet you are present in. So when I run this, so currently I'm in sheet 5, so it displays right on top of sheet 5. Doesn't mean I'm associating this message box to sheet 5. So let me show you. I'll select some other sheet. So over here, I have activated sheet 1 now. And let me just execute it over here. See, it will appear. So it is not associated with any sheet. It is only going to display the message that you want to see. Or going further, I'll also show you how to use this to display some variable values and other things. We haven't covered it yet. So we'll be doing all that in the further classes. So when I run this, it's going to appear on whichever sheet that is currently active. So to this simple message box, I want to add few more things. So like, say, macro display message box with icon. See over here, if you just want to give a tone to your message, let's say whether it's a warning sign or it's just a information that you're providing, or it's some critical message that you want to pass on to your user, you can use icons to communicate it that way. So I'll say message box with icon. So we'll give this message box. See, in this message box, I want to display a question mark. I'll give that. I'll say, is it boring? I'll just give a question like this. It's a yes or no question. So to display it as a question, I can use a question icon over here. You have to give a comma after the prompt. And here in this drop down, you have so many things given. So you need to choose VB question to display a question mark. So you have a lot of options here. And I can also provide a custom title to my message box. So what happens? So let me comment this. In this first example, what we did, when I execute it, it is going to show me the application name as the title of that message box. This is a default title that it's going to take. If I have to mention something of my wish or which goes well with this message box that I want to display, I'll say answer the question. So something like that. Answer the question. So this is the title that I want to display on the message box. If I run this, see, answer the question is the title of the message box. I have a question icon. Is it boring is the prompt that I provided, and OK is the button. See, actually, since you're posing a question, you should also see the buttons are also going to match with it. So you are expecting an answer from the user. So you could give buttons like yes or no or cancel, something like that. So even that also has to be displayed here. So I'll write another macro to display different buttons apart from what is already present. So by default, OK is the button here. So if you want to display some other buttons, you will have to mention. I'll show you that macro to display message box with custom buttons. So here, the message box and named as buttons. So I'll use the same message box which we use to display a question here. Okay. And along with this VB question icon, I want to display the buttons that I said, yes, no, and such things. So it comes in the same parameter. So if you have to give multiple inputs for the same parameter, so I'll show you the parameters again. This is prompt. In prompt, I have given is it boring. In buttons and the style of the message box, that is icons and such things. In the same parameter, you will also give an input for the buttons that you want to display. You just give plus here. See, along with VB question, I want to give yes, no buttons instead of OK. I'll choose VB yes, no. So you can also give yes, no, cancel if you want. So I'm choosing yes, no. Okay. Now if I run this, you see, you can see a custom title a message. So that is a question with a question mark icon and the buttons that you have given, yes and no. So likewise, it allows you to make some customizations, but the options has to be chosen from the list of VBA itself. You can't give something different from it in this. Understood? So are you clear with this, all of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no questions on this one. So you can create such things using Msgbox. So as I said, you want to display in the end of an automation that your data was copied successfully, or the report is generated successfully, the sheet has been deleted, or you have created a tool where you want to log in, you want the user to log in before using it. And if the user enters wrong credentials, you want to show them a message. So you can use this message box in many instances like this. So apart from this, you also have another function, a VBA function, which is going to allow you to create it to receive a single input from the user. It's known as input box. So unlike message box, this input box will store the value, but you should use it somewhere. Only then it is helpful. Otherwise, at the end of the macro, whatever is stored in the input box will vanish. Let me show you that also. Macro to use an input box. So this is another simple dialog box in VBA that we use. So simple input. Like this. So just like message box, you also have something known as input box. So here we'll say enter your name. This is the prompt. So you can see the parameter list. It only asks you for prompt, title, default, X position, Y position. So you don't have to worry about the default X position and Y position. It is to actually position your input box on the screen. So nothing to worry about these things. You only have to worry about the prompt and title as of now. So I want to give a prompt to the user as to what should be the input. So I'll give enter your name, and after this I'll give a title. I'll say I'm trying to collect contact details. This will be a title for the input box. So let me run it. See, it displays in the prompt it says enter your name, and these two are the default buttons. We gave a title as contact details, that's going to appear here, and whatever you type here, it is stored in the input box, but we are not using it anywhere else. Either you could use it in the message box to display it, or you could use it to print it on a cell. So for both these things you can use it. Let me show you how to use the input that you have received in the input box. So I'll write a macro for that. So I guess this input box function and message box function, they don't have any explanation in the material that I'm going to share. But this file will be shared with you. You can practice from these examples that I've given. Macro to print input in message box. Let's say whatever I have received as an input in the input box, I just want to immediately display it in the message box also. So I'll just do that here. Say print input in as message. So you will have to use the message box as the binding function. So to this message box, inside this message box, you're going to use the input box. So input box, you have to use brackets now. See, whenever a function is an input to some other function or an object, you have to use brackets to its parameters. So here I'll say enter your name, the same question and the same title. And when I run this, see, it asks me to enter my name, and immediately after typing it over there, it will display in the message box because I gave that as an input to the message box. You could also print the value that you are typing in the input box in a sheet as well. So let me show you that example. Or I'll just say macro to print input in Excel sheet. So I'll just write this name of the macro as print input in Excel. And here I'll say first I have to give the address of the cell. I guess you all remember our first program that we wrote yesterday. So we changed the value of a cell. We tried to print a value of the cell. The same thing we are going to do here, but with the help of an input box. So yesterday, whatever we gave was a hard-coded value. Whatever you gave in the program, only that used to get printed. But here, you can keep changing every time you run the macro. So every time you give a different input in the input box, the value of the cell is also going to change. So here I'll give the cell address where I want to see the input to be printed. I'll choose sheet 3 for this. I want to print the value in C5 of sheet 3 and say sheet 3 range of C5 yes C5 dot value, because I'm going to change the value property. Here I'll mention input box and I'll say enter your name, the same thing again. So we are trying to make use of it in different ways. I just want you to explore it like this. So with contact details, yes. So now if I run it, see whatever I give as an input in the message box, sorry, input box, that will be printed onto the cell in sheet 3. So you can see here in C5, this is printed. Okay, so you can use this input box only to receive a single input at a time. This doesn't help you in receiving multiple inputs. For that, yesterday I discussed with you, we are going to build user forms. So there you could receive input from the users in multiple ways using text box, drop down, option button, checkbox, and such things. But this input box, you can enter any kind of input over here, whether it's a number or text, there is no restriction, but you can give only one input at a time. That's the limitation of it. Clear? Do you have any doubts in this part? I'm going to stop the class here. We'll continue further from tomorrow, but we still have some time. You guys can utilize this time to ask any doubts that you have. Anyone? Do you have any doubts?
This is Sagu. Can you please show the macro for multiple inputs like drop down?
That we have in further classes, Sagu. I don't want to deviate the
Yeah,
class
thank you.
here.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Anyone else? Do you have any other doubts?
No.
Yes, Vinay, tell me.
No, ma'am. No doubts.
Huh? No doubts.
No doubts.
Okay. 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 So, shall we meet tomorrow then? I'm done with the class today. So we'll all meet tomorrow. Even if you have any doubts after the class, please feel free to mail me. We'll clear your doubts over the mail. Okay. I'll be asking you, even in the next session, whether you have any doubts. If it is a small doubt that we can clear it in the class, it's fine. If it is going to take some time, I'll reply to you over the phone, over the mail. That will be much easier for me. And you will find it more clear with all the details that I can share with you. So thank you all. Thank you for the patience.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.